If you missed part 1 of the belts video, go back and watch it first. This is part 2. There are going to be several great brands of belts in here, so let's get right into it. Patagonia, you should know the brand Patagonia. The sell-through rate is 715%, so basically any Patagonia belt you find is going to be a pickup for sure. You're going to see a lot of the nylon ones, such as these, and they sell for between 20 and 30 bucks. 35 for this one, 29 for that one. There are the occasional leather ones, and they sell for more, 45 bucks for this. So if you see any Patagonia belt, it is a pickup for sure. Like I said, 715% sell-through rate. If you don't know what sell-through rate means, it means how fast the item sells. 100% sell-through rate means that in 90 days, the item is guaranteed to sell on eBay. Or what it means is it's 100% likely, almost guaranteed, to sell within 90 days on eBay. Over 100% sell-through rate shortens the time window that you're going to have the item. So anything like 700% sell-through rate is a very fast sell-through rate. You definitely want to pick up items with that kind of a sell-through rate. Next isn't a brand, but a style, Western. Any Western belt, if it's a good brand, has a sell-through rate of 312% as a general rule. So most Western belts, unless they're a bad brand, are going to sell pretty quick if it's a cool style. I'm just going to really quick go through some of these. Like this here. Cool looking stuff. They got 10 bucks for this, 10.50, because they did an auction. Do not do auctions. You're going to get less money. There's very few moments that you're going to do better with an auction. There are times, for the most part, you're not going to want to do auctions. But Western belts, in general, if you didn't know, are still very desirable. A lot of people want them. The sell-through rate for any Western belt, in general, 312%. Next, we have House of Flemings. Sell-through rate is 228%. It is a great brand, and this is kind of what it looks like. 316 bucks here for the alligator skin. Like I mentioned in the first video, exotic leathers and skins will a lot of times drive up the price. That being said, there still are trash can brands with exotic skins that don't sell for very good money. Next we have Filson. Sell-through rate is 164%. You should know anything Filson is going to be worth looking at, and most likely you're going to be picking it up. This is a basic CC Filson leather belt. In good condition, $70 pre-owned. You've got to love that. Allen Edmonds, this is the belt that I find the most. It's a pretty common brand with a sell-through rate of 141%. The market size is 1,143. That means in the last 90 days, 1,143 of these belts have been bought and sold on eBay. They're not going to get a ton of money, but you will find some that are worth 50, 60 bucks. The typical Allen Edmonds in good shape, the dress belts, you're going to get 35, 40 bucks for a great one. The better the condition, the more you're going to get. Allen Edmonds is very common. If you find an Allen Edmonds belt, you're probably going to pick it up unless it's trashed. They make shoes, and this is what the logo looks like. I love Allen Edmonds belt. It's the belt that I've sold the most of. I personally give them 5 stars. Next we have Oakley. Yes, the people that make the obnoxious 80s sunglasses, they make belts. The sell-through rate for Oakley belts are 130%. And of course they're obnoxious and they have the brand all big because that's what people really care about. Not sure why people continue to buy this stuff, but 40 bucks. Next we have Smathers and Branson. Pretty good. Sell-through rate 126%. They make all different kinds of stuff, but mostly what you're going to find is the needlepoint stuff. I'm not sure how they got 105 bucks for that, but hey, there's a whole niche inside belts. If you're a brand new seller and you haven't chosen your niche yet, let me put my hat in the ring here and say, if someone wanted to really specialize in belts and become a belt expert, you could make a really good living doing just belts. I don't want to mess with it because I'm doing fine doing clothing, and personally I get irritated fast, and looking through belts, flipping them over, and they fall off of the little pegs they have them on, trying to find the brand. Then some of them don't have brand names on them, so you have to guess and do a bunch of research. You lost me after do a bunch of research. But if you're a new seller and you find clothing to be saturated, which it is, belts might be something you want to check into as a full-time living, because you could make a great living if you become an expert in belts. I'm not doing it, but you could. I mean, some of these belts for $50, but this is going to get passed. People aren't going to pick this up that don't know about belts. This looks like a silly, goofy belt. Who would want to wear that? Obviously, someone wants to pay $50 for that. So just a little endorsement for anybody who's considering diving into a niche. Belts could be a great niche if you have the patience and you want to really learn. For me, I sell them on the side. I make about $400 a month from belts. I know just enough to make a little extra money. Next, we have Prada. Sell-through rate 120%. You should know Prada. It's a very popular luxury brand, and this one's in great shape. That's the logo, Prada. It's probably fake when you find it, but if you do find a Prada, think about grabbing it because it's going to sell quick. Fendi is next. 113% sell-through rate. Fendi is another fancy brand, and it will sell for great money if you find it and it's authentic. That's what it looks like. If it says Fendi on it, you're about to make some good money if it's not fake. 511 Tactical, yes, 511 Tactical. Their belts sell pretty quick. 105% sell-through rate, and they all sell for pretty good money relative to being a belt. I mean, most belts, for $16, I'm probably not going to mess with that unless I get it for $1. I don't like to play around in the $15 range. It's just, there's too many good things out there for my money. But some of these will sell for a lot more. In general, the 511 fabric belts are going to be cheap. Even brand new people aren't even getting 20. But the leather ones, now you're talking. So the leather 511s or the 511s that are unique, definitely pick up. But some of the cheesy, just the nylon ones and stuff, unless they're really cheap, I would pass on them. You're not going to make much money. BB Simon is next. The sell-through rate on BB Simon is 102%. Very gaudy, weird, blingy, bling belt. Of course, if you find BB Simon, it looks really weird, but it's worth good money. Not much to say other than that. Next, we have Gucci. What can I say? If you find a Gucci belt that's actually authentic, you're going to get hundreds of dollars, most likely. What can I say? It's Gucci. There's no mystery here. FootJoy Golf is next with a sell-through rate of 100% exactly. I like this brand because it's common where I am, and you don't have to worry about fakes. And you'll still get between $20 and $30 for a good FootJoy. $25 for this one. You find one with the cool buckle like that, you're getting more money. These basic standard ones, you're not going to get too much. But the more crazy, the better. And the golf belts like this, don't pass on these. I've sold these before for $30. These are very useful utilitarian belts. People love them. They're not that fancy looking, but they do a great job and they stretch. When people are out golfing, it stretches with them. So don't pass these up just because they look silly or whatever. They look cheap. These FootJoy fabric belts are great. I've sold many of them in the past for over $30. Next, Burberry. Yes, that Burberry. 91% sell-through rate. Fancy exotic brand. Highly faked. If you find Burberry, consider picking it up. It better be authentic. Blah, 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 blah. Burberry, don't care. Brooks Brothers. Surprisingly, Brooks Brothers has an 89% sell-through rate for belts. The majority of the Brooks Brothers clothing line is straight trash. I don't mess with it unless I find the vintage made in USA shirts. Some of the pants will sell okay. If you find the great, like a blazer that's Loro Piana or something, or silk or something, or linen, okay. Brooks Brothers, as a general dress line, has kind of become passé, old man fashion, but a lot of old men really like it, and a lot of middle-aged men really like it. Not a lot of young kids caring about Brooks Brothers these days. But the belts are good, kids. Belts have an 89% sell-through rate. And you'll get 35, 50 bucks for a good Brooks Brothers belt. This is a basic belt. But, you know, 35 bucks for a belt like this, absolutely all day long. I love Brooks Brothers belts. I'm buying them every time I find them if they're in good shape. Peter Millar, not quite as good as Brooks Brothers, but 87% sell-through rate. Like most Peter Millar things, new with tags will sell for pretty decent money. This one was a crocodile belt. Not sure what they got. But this silly needlepoint one, they got 31 bucks. Leather, 129 for new. A lot of the Peter Millar will be fabric or needlepoint, and it's probably going to be 35 to 50 bucks. With the occasional exotic leather one like this for over 100 bucks if it's new. So Peter Millar, absolutely, I will be picking that up. Thank you very much. Next we have Nexbelt, Nexbelt. Pretty decent brand, sell-through rate of 84%. A lot of fabric ones. Some leather. Generally speaking, Nexbelt is a good pickup. They do have some stuff like this one's a tactical belt for gun belt. That's the logo, the N in the circle. Gun belts sell really well. Leon Braconi, sell-through rate of 80%. Very rare. Not likely to find it, but if you do, you could get 50 or something. $9 plus shipping. Well, okay. So just know that it's out there and it can be worth good money. A tail we could wag with a sell-through rate of 79%. Not very exciting for 15, 17 bucks, 29 bucks for that. Just know if you see one of these tail we could wag belts and you're getting it really cheap, it's going to sell pretty quick. MCM belt can be okay. 80 bucks for this one. 180 for this one. This one has the crazy buckle. So yeah, MCM can be good. Not very common though, really. This one still kind of had the box and stuff, so yeah. Know that MCM's out there. It can be pretty good. Cartier, the fancy brand Cartier. Obviously, 400 bucks for a new one. Pre-owned, 85 bucks. It is a luxury brand. You're not likely to find it. But if you do, you find Cartier. Let me see if I can get a good shot. Cartier, there you go. So yeah, if you find Cartier, it could be worth it. A lot of them are worth a lot of money. Polo Ralph Lauren. Oh my goodness. 3,300 market size. Very common. Some of it's worth good money. Some of it is straight trash, depending on the condition. It's all about condition with Polo Ralph Lauren belts. $12.50, why bother? $3.99, why pick it up? But you get into some of these here, $26.99 now. I'm getting that all day long. 58 bucks for this one, the double O-ring braided leather belt. Okay, that's a good pickup. $29.99 for a leather belt. Okay. So there's so many of these with so many styles. Polo Ralph Lauren, look it up first. But as a brand, it's a 73% sell-through rate. Some is worth really good money. If it's beat up, just leave it behind. There's too much of it. You're going to be competing with better belts. You're never going to sell it. Holderness Bourne, sell-through rate is 71%. Some of it's pretty good. Some of it's worth a lot of money. This here, they probably got about 40 bucks. This is one of those stretchy golf belts. Those are very good, very good. Golfers love them because they look nice and they stretch with your body. Next we have Magnanni. Yes, the people that make shoes, Magnanni. And their belts can be worth money. They did an auction here. That was a mistake. They got 45 for that belt. That's more like it. 54 for that belt. If you find Magnanni, it's not the fastest sell-through rate, but 70%. It's still pretty good, and you're getting 50 bucks, 50, 60, $70 for these belts. Don't pass on these. I'm telling you, stop by your belt section before you leave the thrift store and just take a quick look. And if anything jogs your memory from these two videos, pick it up and sell it. You're there anyway. Why pass it? Next, we have Nike G-Flex. I love these. I find them, and they sell quick. The sell-through rate's only 69%, but don't let that fool you. If it's in good condition, these Nike G-Flexes will sell pretty quick. 45 bucks for that, 27 for that. Anything above 20 bucks is pretty good for a belt. And these G-Flexes, there's people looking for them. They sell quick, so I'd grab them. Next, we have King Ranch. I feel like this was in the last video, and I'm sure it was, so I'm going to skip it. Next, we have Ariat. This is a Western brand. They make jeans, they make clothing, but the jeans do better than the other clothes. The shirts do okay, but they're starting to slip. The belts are pretty good. 66% for Ariat belts. The good leather ones here, 42. Look at that. It's new, but look at that, the buckle. Diesel brown rowdy leather belt. Vintage Ariat without a buckle. 60 bucks with no buckle. They call it vintage, but you know what? That's not vintage at all. That is not a vintage belt. But hey, they sold it. So Ariat, for sure, grab it. KLEINBERG can be okay. They're worth money if you find an exotic leather one. 17 for that. I would have passed on that. $12.99, no thank you. 40 bucks, more like it. KLEINBERG, if you find exotic snake skin, alligator skin, whatever, could be worth it. This one's Python, and there's the logo. Yves Saint Laurent, YSL, fancy brand, you got to be authenticated. Some of them are worth good money. You're not likely to find it. And the buckles will sell the belt. This one they got 20 bucks. I wouldn't have bothered. I'm not really bothering with this stuff. We're getting in the 55% sell-through rate here, so there's got to be something special for me to mess with anything in this section of the video. Harley Davidson is next. Depending on the belt, some of it's okay, but it's very, very, very common. And they don't go for much when they're used, and they only got $16 for this belt. That is pathetic. You would think this is a $50 belt. Look at it. Why did they get so little for it? Because it's a Harley buckle on a Levi belt. That's why. But still, it's really overblown. Be careful with Harley because there's a lot of it out there. Don't get too excited when you find it, because you're going to be sitting on it for a while. So I'd say Harley is on a case-by-case. Martin Dingman, it's not very rare, but the exotic stuff will do okay. This one they got $50 for a basic leather, made by hand, made in USA. So if you find something made in USA, it could help it sell. It could be worth a little bit more. They got $15 for this one. So this is a really hit or miss brand. If you find a Martin Dingman, look it up. Make sure it's worth it. I'm probably passing on most of them at this point. 47% for Armani sell-through rate. Nothing special here. It's Armani. A good one you could get a lot of money for. A beat-up old one that's used and not in great condition, you might get 15 bucks. But some of the nice ones, totally worth it if you find it. Next we have Y2K belts, which is just kind of a style name or a niche. It's not necessary. It's not a brand name. But a lot of these old Y2K belts, they have the Y2K look. They're usually a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. They have an interesting older look to them. If you find a belt that has the Y2K look, it's worth looking up because some of them will sell for good money. Just something to think about. The Y2K is kind of a thing right now, and the belts are doing okay. Johnston & Murphy, 43% sell-through rate. They make middling shoes, and they make middling belts. The belts, not great. If you find a good one in really good condition or new without tags, it's worth considering if you're getting it very cheap. The majority of Johnston & Murphys are passes, though. They're not great. Tumi, T-U-M-I, sell-through rate of 40%. They're known for handbags mostly and some belts. If you find a Tumi belt, look it up. It may be worth it, and it may be trash. Next is just ostrich belts, ostrich leather belts. Doesn't matter the brand. Some ostrich belts are really going to sell quick. Some of them are fake ostrich because there is a lot of fakes out there. It looks like this. It's a belt with brown raised spots where the ostrich's feathers used to be. And for some reason, people like ostrich belts. Be on the lookout for them. Brewster is the next brand, 33% sell-through rate. Not worth my time. Occasionally, you'll find a cool one that might be worth it. Why is Nakona here? This is supposed to be Brewster. Well, as a side note, since Nakona didn't seem to make it into my other videos, I just sold 2 Nakona belts for about 25 bucks each. So you should know, I don't know the sell-through rate offhand, but some Nakona belts are going to be worth it, even though we're supposed to be talking about Brewster. Some Brewster, it's mostly going to be needlepoint, like these kind of belts. And if you find the right one, you get 35 bucks, but you're going to sit for a while. Next we have Fry. They make cowboy boots and they make belts. The belts are fairly desirable, but sometimes they will sit for a while with a sell-through rate of 29%. With Fry belt, I would say it's got to be in good condition and it's got to have a cool belt buckle, or it's got to be new with tags or almost new with tags. A basic Fry belt could go for as terrible as $450 or as good as $35. But it's kind of all over the place, so it's got to have a lot going for it if I'm going to pick up a Fry. Robert Graham, there are exceptions, but 25% sell-through rate is not good. If you find a Robert Graham belt that's new with tags or it has a crazy ugly pattern like these, I would consider picking it up. A beat-up used Robert Graham belt, I would leave it behind. This one here has Kiss on it. I definitely would have bought that and kept it for myself. Okay, we're getting to the bottom here. Leatherman Ltd. This is a very common brand, and some of it sells for okay money. I have found this and sold this before. It was the needlepoint like this with the leather end and the brass buckle. That's common with Leatherman Ltd. Not a great brand, low sell-through rate, but if you find it and you want to sit on it for a while, you could make up to 20 bucks. Very middling. When I found my Leathermans, they were very cheap. I got them for $1 each, so that's why I got them. Puma, straight trash. If you find it new with tags, okay. Otherwise, nope. Dolce & Gabbana, sell-through rate of 13%. Fancy Pants brand, I'm passing on it because I'm not going to find it. If I actually found one, it was actually legit, actual Dolce & Gabbana, not fake, I would leave it behind for you. I don't mess with these brands. I ain't got time for it. Next we have Under Armour, sell-through rate of 7%, and there's nothing to say about that. Do not buy Under Armour belts unless you're feeling like wasting your time and money. Okay,